Hey guys, this is Leola. I had to come to you. And before I say anything, let me tell you why I'm coming to you to reveal this. I was keeping this for my book. I was. I didn't want to say anything until it was time for the book. But it's okay because I got so much more. And see, what the enemy is doing, they're watching me. And when I say enemies, I mean people like Ray J, his sister, his family, Pat, uh, anybody that has something to do with the demise of Whitney. And I'm going to keep this very real as God is my witness. When I woke up today, I said, it was just on my heart. God can strike me dead where I sit if I am telling a story. It was on my heart to come on here today. I said I was going to do a live for my members, my new members. But then I was thinking it was so heavy on my heart to reveal the fact that Whitney Houston was pregnant. Let me tell you, that was nobody but God putting that on my heart today to tell me to get up and talk about this, or either get up and pay attention to this. As I looked in my phone about 2 minutes ago, now it is it's early afternoon now. But what I'm saying is, and I really don't even know what time it is. Whatever time it is right now. I've been up since early this morning. So I don't even know what time it is right now. But listen to this. It was on my heart to reveal this. Oh my God. God is guiding me, you all. And I said I was going to reveal it. I didn't want to bother my brother with this because I didn't want Bobby to hurt no more. I didn't want him to hurt no more, but I was going to explain this to him. And I have been trying to get to my brother, but it's so difficult because of his wife. Whitney was pregnant. Yes, she was. And this is why I have been so upset in the beginning when they killed her. Bobby Christina called us and told us that Mommy was pregnant by Daddy. She was pregnant by Bobby. Yes, she was. And this is why I say they knew this. And that's why they didn't let her get away from that hotel. Whitney was I want you all to listen to me, please. She was at the Beverly Hilton Hotel 2 weeks prior to her being found. Okay? And I want y'all to follow me. Somebody called her cousin, Aaliyah, in New Jersey and said, something's going on at that hotel with your aunt. You all need to get her away from them, meaning Pat Houston and them. They saw something going on at that hotel before Whitney was found. Okay? And keep in mind, Aaliyah said when she called Whitney, she told me this. When she called Auntie Whitney sounded okay. And she even asked Aaliyah to come there with her. She was enjoying herself. Now, I knew all along that Pat and Gary's story was going to be that Whitney killed herself. This is what they wanted in the beginning, you guys. They were going to say this because they were going to use it. They were going to use it as her just getting rid of herself after finding Bobby Christina, because Bobby Christina was found first at the Beverly Hilton. Yes. And Bobby Christina told us that when she awoke in that tub, all she remembered was going to her, this is the day before Whitney was found. Bobby Christina was found in the bathtub. She said she was going through her. She had eaten that day. She hadn't done nothing else. And keep in mind, she had an adjoining room with Nick. And this is the room that I'm saying that everybody hung out in. I'm picturing this because I know how it goes down when Whitney's out on the road. Okay, I want y'all to follow me because I see what they're doing. There's a video out right now. Some girl came out and said Whitney was pregnant by Ray J. That is not true. Ray J and Brandy is trying to come back with this now. And if it's true that Whitney did give you a letter, Brandy, and it said I'm pregnant, okay, it was because she knew that your brother and all them, everybody was running around that hotel doing things to her and her daughter. Okay, because when she walked up on you and handed you that note, okay, that was to let you guys know that she was on to you all. Whitney knew. She knew something was going on. Her baby was found in the hotel, in her bathtub the day before. Nobody's answering her phone calls. She keeps Chrissy in that room with her. When Chrissy ran down to her mother's room the day before, butt naked, because they had taken her clothes and everything out of that hotel. Okay? So Whitney she's not talking to anybody. She's keeping Chrissy with her. And when she walked up on Brandy and Clive and them, Chrissy was next to her with Whitney's clothes on because Chrissy couldn't find her clothes. Who took her clothes out of her room? I want y'all to follow this for a moment because I see what they're doing. They're trying to reveal that Whitney was pregnant before I reveal it in my book. That's okay. That's fine. But I'm going to tell the truth. It wasn't Ray J's baby. It was Bobby's baby. Yes. And Whitney knew that it was Bobby's baby. They were getting ready to get married again. Okay? Whitney had gotten her test back while she was at the hotel. This is why I'm telling you all this, okay? The doctor had revealed that to her. She was pregnant. Yes. And I said that I believe her phone was tapped. Everybody running around this hotel ducking her because you don't want to answer her as to why her baby was found in the bathtub and where are her clothes. See, Pat, you're not answering your phone. You sat on Oprah and told Oprah that. I didn't answer her phone call all that day. Why? Why? Because you knew what she wanted. And then Mickey, Whitney's cousin, told me, and now Mickey's dead. Mickey told me that Mama Sissy invited you, Gary, and you, Pat, to her house and asked you all after Whitney's death, what happened to my baby? And you all said, y'all flew in from Atlanta to go all the way to New York, New Jersey, to Mama Sissy's house to eat. She's inviting you to dinner so she can sit down and talk to you all because you all ain't said nothing to her about her baby. And she knows that you all know something. But you all jump up and say, oh, that's why you invited us to dinner? Oh, we didn't come here for that. You knew she didn't want to be here no more. Really, that's what, and I said this before you all, Mickey even told me that. I said they're going to say that Whitney killed herself. That's their plan to say, but they didn't even come and get in the media to say nothing. I guess after I revealed everything, they couldn't come with nothing. You can't say that you couldn't say that Whitney tried to kill herself because Bobby Christina wasn't gone. That was the plan in the beginning. Bobby Christina was found. So now that it was set up so that now if Bobby Christina's found, Whitney found her dead, they found her dead in the bathtub, Whitney was going to kill herself. And that was going to be the story. But Bobby Christina came through and she ran down to her mother's room. And Whitney tried to call everybody that day. Nobody answered her phone calls. Everybody disappeared. Yeah. Okay? You already said it, Pat. And then you all sat on, then you lied and said your brother gave Whitney CPR and you told him to stop. But Nick got on, you said that, Pat, on Oprah, that Ray was giving Whitney CPR and you told him to stop. She was gone. Nick sat on Dr. Phil and said His mother coached him all the way from Florida. He was giving Whitney CPR. Which one of you all are lying? He sat on Dr. Phil and said that. And then I heard Nick and 15 other people in my living room heard Nick on a tape say, I'm not going down for Chrissy's death. I'm not taking this. When he beat Chrissy down in the living room, which was orders from somebody, when he didn't think Chrissy was going to make it, he got scared and said, oh, I'm not taking this. I'm not going down for Pat. I'm not taking the fall for Pat on this one. I saved Pat with Whitney. What did he save you from, Pat? Huh? What did he save you from? Yes, that's what Nick said. Is that why he's not here now? Okay, but I want people to follow me and listen to what I'm saying. Because what y'all ain't gonna do. And Ray J, let me tell you something. Whitney was not pregnant by you. She was pregnant by my brother. And it wouldn't make no sense for you to kill her if she was pregnant having your baby. Which would it? You would love that. The girl is saying that you killed her after that, finding out that she was pregnant by you. No, y'all knew that was Bobby Brown's baby. And that's why Whitney didn't leave that hotel. Y'all didn't want Whitney to marry my brother again. They had just said they were getting married again. They revealed it to my niece. They took her to dinner. Bobby Christina called us happy. Mommy and Daddy's getting married again, and Mommy is pregnant by Daddy. Yes. No, Ray J, that was not your baby. How dare you? No, you're not going to get away with that one. No, that was not your baby. Whitney knew that was Bobby's baby, okay? But I'm just saying, y'all coming with this, trying to come back with something to say, okay, how we gonna deal with this? Let's say that note she passed you was because Leola's gonna come out with she was pregnant in the book. Yeah, okay. I can reveal whatever I'm going to reveal. I can reveal on YouTube, on my Facebook, wherever I feel like revealing it at. It's still not gonna put a damper on my book because y'all don't nobody know what's in my book. No. And very important people got copies of it. Yes. Just in case. Y'all gonna let my sister rest. You're gonna let her rest in peace. Y'all doing all this stuff to her. All this stuff. Whitney Houston this, Whitney this movie. Whitney wouldn't condone none of this stuff, a perfume line. And Pat, she would never do a infomercial for you for a candle. Come on. Y'all are making yourself, you're looking guilty by lying on Whitney. Whitney would never do none of this stuff for you. No. No, she was not pregnant by Ray J. Whitney Houston was pregnant by Bobby Brown. That was my niece or nephew in her stomach when she was murdered. And whoever murdered her knew that Whitney was pregnant. And they knew that her and Bobby had planned to get married again. And they had just revealed it to my niece. Bobby was overseas. Y'all didn't want Bobby to come back. Y'all didn't want Whitney and Bobby to get married. That's why Whitney Houston was killed so quick. Yeah, it might have been on the agenda to take her. But you all decided to do it right then and there. When the note came back, the message came back that she was pregnant by Bobby. Y'all already knew. You had her phone tapped. You knew, you heard the conversations. You was following her, I'm sure. So you knew about Bobby. You knew that they were getting ready to get married again. You knew that Whitney had begged him to please marry her again because Whitney knew she had come to her senses and knew that all of you that had conspired and had agitated that marriage so bad and to the point where she just made her mind up to just divorce Bobby. But when she realized that she had done something that she really didn't mean to do, she came to her senses. and beg my brother. Everybody in my family knows this to be the truth. Yes, and they will bear witness to it. Whitney begged Bobby to remarry her. She apologized and asked him, and he didn't say yes right away, but he finally did. I was talking to Bobby on the phone one day. Whitney, he said, hold on, Nip's on the other line. When he came back to the phone with me, he said, she's asking me to marry her again. And I said, go ahead, Bobby, do it. Yes. So I knew when it all began with her asking him to marry her again. Yes, and they were going to do it. But that is why I believe Whitney was murdered so quickly. The marriage, she's now pregnant by Bobby. Yes, and that was a big reason why. I guess she wanted to marry Bobby again. She knew she was pregnant by Bobby. They had been still messing around even after their divorce. Yes. No, Pat was not her manager. The only reason why you all see Pat Houston with her in the end, because Whitney was vulnerable after she divorced Bobby. She didn't really, she never went back home to New Jersey. But I guess her mother, Mama Sissy, Mama Sissy, I'm so sorry. But Pat was always forced upon Whitney. Pat and Gary, they followed Whitney from New Jersey when her and Bobby got married. They basically stalked Whitney. I am a witness of that. Because when I had custody of Bobby Christina, they followed me to the doctors with her. I didn't know what they were doing. I'm like, why are they following me with Bobby Christina? I didn't know none of this stuff until after Whitney came up dead. I started looking back at everything that took place in our lives. And all the time that I was with Whitney, everything that I witnessed and saw. Because I lived in the house with Bobby and Whitney. I was employed by Whitney. She hired me. She asked me to be her assistant and hired me as Bobby Christina's nanny. Well, she signed papers. Pat, you were there. You were present. You were present when me and Whitney signed papers, when you all bum rushed her with the attorneys came in there and said that she had to go to a program. And she had to put Bobby Christina in somebody's custody. And she called me. Pat, you thought that she was going to have you do it. That's why you stood there with her attorneys. But she said, no, my sister Leola is the only one that's going to have custody over my daughter. And Pat, you stood there quiet, standing there with your hands in front of you. I was there. When I walked through the door, you were standing right against the wall. And Whitney said, sign these papers. And we signed. And I had custody over Bobby Christina. Pat, you know this. You witnessed it. Okay? But Brandy, Ray J, y'all can stop with these games. That's not going to do it. And Ray J, you're not going to tell the world that that's what's wrong with you. Whitney was having my baby. That's why I'm going, no, that wasn't your baby. That was not your baby. That was Bobby Brown's baby. My brother. Wasn't yours. No. And if Whitney passed you a letter, Brandy, stating that, tell your brother that I'm pregnant. That was because she knew that y'all was running around that hotel trying to kill her. And she was trying to tell y'all, don't do that to me. I'm pregnant. I'm having a baby. She knew she was trapped in that hotel. But what you ain't going to do is claim that it was yours. No. Now, I don't know what was on that letter, but I knew it had something to do with, I figured it had something to do with you, Ray J, because she knew that y'all was running around there trying to hurt her. Her daughter came up in the bathtub. Who did that? Who put something in Chrissy's food and drink? Because she said she didn't have nothing but lunch and breakfast that day. So somebody put something in my niece's food and drink. And when she went to that deadbolt to lock it, that was all she remembered. She said, but I think she made it back to her bed and laid down. And that's where y'all took her clothes off at. You took her clothes off and put her in that bathtub. Yes, you did. Bobby Christina didn't even have water in her lungs. Okay? Somebody put her in that bathtub because she lay down on that bed. God had sent me a dream. He sent me a vision because I was asking Allah to please give it to me. And he sent me a vision where I was sitting up on the tails of a big field, a big football field. I was up on the high seats, and Bobby Christina was walking up to me, and I had a pillow on my lap, and she laid in my lap, and I put my hand on her and said, "Oh God, she's tired, she's sleepy," and she went to sleep in my lap. But it was like she looked at me and was like, "Auntie, I'm so tired." So when I woke up from this dream or vision that God was giving me, I had finally got it. I said, that was Allah telling me that my niece had made it to the bed. She had made it to the bed because that was the question that I was asking him to give me a sign. Tell me what happened to my niece. See? So Chrissy did make it to the bed after she locked that deadbolt. And somebody took all of her clothes off of her because you knew she wasn't going to wake up. You had already spiked her food and drink. But she woke up in that bathtub. And when she woke up, there were security men around her. Her rugs were soaked, she said, from the bathroom all the way to the front door. Her whole room was soaked with water. And when Whitney was found, they said Whitney's room, the room she was found in, was soaked. Chrissy said she woke up after Whitney kept her in that room. When she woke up the next morning, Whitney was gone. When she came out the room and went down the hall, Whitney was in there dead. See? It was Chrissy's room that Whitney Houston was found in. And that was the room that Pat and Gary were going in back and forth. You all were staging the scene. My brother and my nephew was right there in the hallway. Everybody was in the hallway looking right at you all. Going in and out of that room, taking stuff, putting stuff in, taking stuff out, running. Bobby Christina fell right there in the hallway. You stepped over her. You didn't even try to help my nephew, Gerard, with her. He said he couldn't even hold Chrissy up and looked at y'all like, help me. Y'all didn't even help him. He was so busy trying to rush and stage that scene before the authorities got there. Why did you all do that? Why? Ray had already told me the room looked like a tornado hit it. So Whitney was fighting for her life. What did you all hide? What was y'all trying to hide? My God. To my brother Bobby, I am so sorry. I don't know if Nippy told you yet, but you probably already knew. But I know she was going to surprise you. If you didn't know, that was the surprise for you. She was going to surprise you with the baby and tell you that she was having your baby, darling. This is a shame. This is really sad. But you know what? God got me at peace right now. He does. I am really at peace. I can now speak without so much anger in my voice. My heart is at rest because I know that God is resting my niece and my sister and my nephew, Bobby Jr. We're not going to forget about him. No. We're not going to forget about him. But I wanted to come here and I wanted to tell you all that. Don't let Ray J and Brandy fool you. When that girl said that, somebody knows that. Somebody came out and said that. I don't know if Ray J and Brandy are planning on saying that's what was on their mind and that's why they're so stressed because Whitney. No, that baby ain't had nothing to do with your family. What are y'all, Norwoods? No. Whatever your last name is. No. No, that baby was a Brown. Yes, it was not yours, Ray J. That was Bobby Brown's baby. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense anyway. Don't nobody want her to be with Bobby. But y'all would take her out and kill her and that baby? That is wicked. That is wicked. That is wicked. That is so wicked. But like I said, I don't know who struck the blows. Don't know who killed my sister. But I know it took more than one. And I do know that God knows who did this. Okay? And like I said, we all have to pay for what we do. Okay? Now that's the truth, people. I'm coming back. But yeah, Whitney Houston was pregnant and Bobby Brown was the daddy. And that's why I was so upset in the beginning, because you took my sister and you took my niece or nephew. Peace, you all. I'll be back.